Hi there folks, welcome back to Rich Reviews. So my latest film for you guys here now is a film called Awake. And yes, I could easily do a bunch of Awake puns, but that would be too easy and I'm not going to do it, although I will do this particular one. Yes, I managed to actually stay awake all throughout this film, but yes, my mind did tend to wander a lot when I was watching this particular film. And this is based on a short story that I have never read. The screenplay is credited by two brothers, and one of the brothers happens to direct this film. Now, this stars Gina Rodriguez as Jill, an ex-soldier who is widowed, and she's forced to sadly hustle drugs on the side in exchange for money. And obviously, she has a mother-in-law who is very disapproving in the form of Frances Fisher, and why Frances Fisher agreed to appear in this, I have no clue. Some unexplained phenomenon happens, and basically, she's in the car when the car dies out and goes into the river, and her two kids, Noah and Matilda, are there, and Noah and Matilda don't really have much of any personality. And now, of course, after this unexplained phenomenon happens, we come to realize, oh yes, people can't sleep, although Jill's daughter is actually sleeping. Why is that? We come to gradually realize in the third act why this actually happens. Let me personally confess that I come to believe that Awake might have made a very fascinating, say, Twilight Zone episode if it ran for 20 minutes and not had to think about it, or maybe even a 45-minute Outer Limits episode in which that might make you think a little bit more, but then not to think about it afterwards. But alas, this is an hour and a half, and oh yeah, did I forget to mention Jennifer Jason Leigh is in this film as Dr. Murphy, and no, not that Murphy, although I would like to shout and say, Murph! This thing is oddly paced, oddly structured. I mean, the first act of this thing zips by real fast, in which, oh yeah, we're introduced to Barry Pepper as a priest. This priest doesn't do anything interesting. I mean, if there's a religious allegory to this film, it's not really all that there. She's dealing drugs. That's not really brought up anytime afterwards, other than one particular scene in which he goes to this car dealership and Gina Rodriguez's character delves pills to. And I get it, Gina Rodriguez needs work after Jane the Virgin. I would really love to see her in more compelling stuff. This does not show her any range at all. I mean, yes, I think we've all had that one particular sleepless night that we've all had in which we cannot sleep. Yes, slowly losing our mind, sleep deprivation, that's really hard on the body, and I think this movie tries to explain all that. He says to her son, yeah, I was involved in some sleep deprivation experiments in Iraq. You know, basically it was torture. I would believe that, yes, and trust me, I think we all go crazy if we didn't have a good night's sleep. One particular episode of Voyager did that. At least in the second and third acts, we meet up with a prisoner who tags along in a ride with them. And this actor you've seen this actor every now and again in films lately, and I hope this guy has a wonderful career ahead of him. He deserves every praise he'll get in future films. Then this thing just sort of arrives to a very violent conclusion involving soldiers, and then at the very end, I'm not going to spoil exactly what the revelation is, but we come to understand exactly how these people cannot sleep. And it's a bit of a ginormous letdown considering I wasted an hour and 30 minutes of my life. Sadly, I just come to understand why some Netflix films went to Netflix. Because, could you see this film making money at the box office? I don't think I could see it. Granted, I've paid for some weird films in my life, and trust me, I regret paying for them. I wish I could ask for my money back. So in the end, folks, what I'm going to say about Awake, and it's basically purely simple. I'm giving this a Netflix ranking, because quite frankly, this will make you snooze, or trust me, if you're an insomniac, maybe you'll want to watch this. So folks, Awake, have you seen this? Please tell me you didn't see this. As always, folks, like, comment, subscribe, enrich yourself with knowledge. I'll see you next time, folks. I'm Michael Rich at Richard2 on Twitter. Yes, hooray.